Hey everybody, so XVG Ninja here. On my right, everybody knows Justin, so if you don't need an introduction. On the left, this is Marvin, the God.
Alex, I love you.
Thank you, Eska. So today we're here to talk about the new Codebase, the blockchain, the development that happened behind it. So if you guys have questions or anything, this is going to be a Q&A. So just lift up your hand, and we'll be handling this. So Justin, Marvin, well, about the new Codebase.
Like, first off, it's crazy to see you all over here. Like, maybe I grabbed the microphone, right? So it's crazy to see you all here. First off, like, I'm very proud to see everyone. Like, actually, we did a great job on the Codebase, I think. Like, I don't want to be proud of myself or on Justin, but I think we did a really good job in the time. Actually, what you also can notice is we doubled our capacity on Codebase developers, and also we have like the iOS engineers since the last meetup and the Android engineers since the last meetup. So really new capacity is building up on Verge. I wouldn't say we can build everything, but we go forward fast.
Yeah. Thanks, Marvin. Justin?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much what he said. When I first started Verge in 2014, and up until 2016, I thought I was going to be working on all of these different software packages that I made for it by myself forever. You know, and like Didi was saying earlier, you know, if, family time is important. I have a 3-year-old daughter, and I started working so many hours that most people would probably wonder how I survived. And like I said at the last meetup, a lot of you were here. There were like, you know, I'd be awake for 3 days, and sometimes I'd forget to eat for like an entire 24 hours. And my girl would have to remind me and be like, Justin, you need to eat. When's the last time you ate? And I wasn't even able to think. I have no idea. And honestly, if Marvin didn't join the team and start helping, I don't even know if the new Codebase would be ready by now. It's so much work to completely rebuild something from scratch that's already very complicated. And we did it. I took what I had, which was probably maybe 80% of it done, and I knew that the next 20% was going to take a long time. And then I've never in my life seen a software developer in general, let alone a blockchain software developer, just adapt. I mean, he came from just software and just adapted so fast, you know. I'd say, oh, this is the reference for that. The next day he'd say, oh yeah, no, I read all of that and I actually fixed, you know, this other issue. What? and you know, and he has a life. He's got other things he has to do outside of this. So I was really blown away by his ability to adapt to blockchain technology and to start understanding the complexities. I'm not going to go into all of them, but you know, blockchains are obviously really, really complex, and you know, there's a lot of times where you're looking at, you know, just a huge block of just numbers, and each section of that huge block of numbers actually represents a different piece of, you know, a transaction or a timestamp or you know, bits. And you know, for somebody just to look at that and just adapt to it and be like, oh no, I understand it now. I understand how this works. And then you don't have to go back to that again. It blows my mind. So I'm really humbled that we have new developers on the team. Manuel will be up here later, but when I first talked to Manuel the first time, he said, he asked me something about the Android wallet that I made, the Tor one, and I said, if you want, I can send you the source code. And he said, I already have your source code. I said, what? He said, yeah, no, I decompiled it and I have the whole source code. And I was like, okay, all right. So yeah, so it's really, really humbling to now be able to share the workload with really, really talented guys. And we have a lot of fun. You know, we crack a lot of jokes. We're in like a little Discord chat, which is where I'm at most of the time. Like if you guys see me on the Discord, like that I'm active, but you don't see me in one of the Verge chats, it's because I'm in a chat with these guys nerding out. And I scroll up and I'm just like, holy shit, like it's incredible how talented they are. I never in my life would thought that I would have, you know, equals coming in and helping. You know, I thought it would be like, oh, I have to hold their hand and that's probably going to slow me down. No. You know, now it's like everybody's just running straight forward and knows what to do, and it's mind-blowing.
Thanks, Justin. So yeah, so I think the first question the community asked when I posted this tweet a few weeks ago, actually to both Justin and Marvin, is what does the new Codebase do and what does it matter for you? So I don't know which one of you want to go first.
It does a lot. Obviously, all of the validations for transactions and mining and creating blocks has been completely revamped. We use the newest version of Tor, so it obviously adds more privacy. We now use version 3 onion peers by default, so there's no, there's no conceptual possibilities for tracing Tor or anything like that. And just to reiterate, because Tor gets a lot of crap from people, mostly propaganda in my opinion, but Tor isn't compromised. It works. It wasn't created by, well, it was created by the government, but now it's open source and it's in the hands of people that actually care about privacy. And in my opinion, it's still the best option out there for for maintaining your origin privacy. But there's so many new RPC commands, which are remote procedure calls. I mean, so many new statistics that we're able to pull off the chain. I don't know if has everybody seen the site that you made that shows like all of the new statistics and stuff?
I hope.
So I mean, we're able to pull so much analytical data out of our blockchain now. How many transactions we're making per day outside of just a normal transaction, which is just mining and creating new coins. We're able to look at how many people are actually using it, how fast everything's moving, what our capacities are. So much.
Yeah, sure. Additionally to that, we also have more capabilities for like future implementations that we can go on, like future adoption. Like we have a huge list on our dev group where we can tackle several issues, several features that we can implement right now, right? So if we can imagine, for example, card integrations are very easy right now. Like it's like basic stuff because everything is like built on the newest code base from Bitcoin, right? And since we upgraded to Bitcoin code base and just added our feature on top of that, it's quite easy for like companies or payment processors to just upgrade their system to accept Verge, right? It's nothing special in the end. It's just the privacy features that hang behind the system that secure your transaction, that makes your life like more privacy focused. So, and that is like a huge step for Verge. Like it's not entirely that the code base will bring us more forward. Sure, it brings performance, but you will never notice them, maybe not even on your own computer, because like blockchain is a blockchain, you download blocks, you have to verify them. It's a lot of stuff that it does in the background, but the gains that we get out of those features that we can build in the future, like this is like immense.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things, like what he's saying, out of a new code base is that basically any software package that works with Bitcoin can now fully work, is compatible with Verge. So that's a huge step forward for us, because obviously Bitcoin has the most resources as far as software, and now pretty much any piece of software out there that exists as a service for Bitcoin works with Verge. So that's definitely a huge bonus for us.
Thanks, guys. So basically what I get is the new code base makes it easier for people to adopt Verge in their lives. So if you want, everybody should actually be going out today and say, hey, you guys should look at accepting Verge. So that's what we take from the new blockchain updates. The other question that I had for the new code, it's still about the new blockchain, but it was about a specific feature. So there's RingCT and RSK. So I don't know which one you guys want to tackle.
We have direct contacts with RSK. Even as a larger development team now, we have to put priorities, into different places. We can't just say, everybody wants RSK. I want RSK. I want us to start using smart contracts immediately. Now that we've actually, obviously, some of you guys know, we've been putting out new versions of the new code base almost every day because we're still finding new issues. And at the end of the day, like I've said before, cryptocurrencies are software. I don't want anybody to confuse what a cryptocurrency is, what a Verge coin is, or what a Bitcoin is. It's a piece of software. It's not a thing. It's a software. Look at the biggest companies in the world, like Microsoft. Anybody here who has Windows knows that your Windows screws up sometimes. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. and that's what cryptocurrencies are. So we find new issues and we tackle them, and those are priorities before over RSK. We can't say, okay, let's start working on smart contracts. Oh, we have a problem. Well, let's not worry about that problem for now and just keep working on the smart. Well, what if the smart contracts are affected by that? So obviously, things internally in our code base are far priority over outside things. But we do have contacts directly with RSK, which is great because as soon as me and Marvin both feel like, okay, this code base is like 1,000% strong, we're good to go. We'll open those communications back up, and it really won't take long. I mean, they're ready to go whenever we are. We started talking with them probably about 5 or 6 months ago, directly over email, and we basically said to them, okay, as soon as we're ready, you guys will be ready? Yes. So that'll be a future partnership that we eventually create, and they're more than willing on their end. They're looking to expand as well. They don't want to only handle smart contracts for Bitcoin. They look at cryptocurrencies as a whole community that they want to be able to benefit and expand their own company as well.
Yeah, and some points regarding RingCT, as it was also part of the question, right? Like basically, I also try to start on working on RingCT. It's like a very deep topic. It's hard to understand, even for me, hard to understand. And besides that, as Justin already mentioned, like there are some issues. Like we release a new code base, we have to make sure it's secure, it's safe for you to use, for everyday use. Also, think about the broader picture. Like there are exchanges with millions, billions of US dollars transactions. Like we have to clearly make sure everything is working 100%ly, and there's no single bug within a transaction. Otherwise, like the money could be gone easily. Like if the transaction is corrupt, you will never get it back unless we do a chain reorg or something which would cause even other effects. Like
Absolutely.
To break this down quickly, like we won't focus on RingCT right now. We want to ensure that we have the high standards on the code base. There's still some stuff left which we have to get done by now. But
instead, we're here hanging out with you guys.
People are always asking who's Justin, so there you are. There he is, guys. Justin is there.
As you already said, we have our priorities, right?
Right. Yeah. We can't focus on. I mean, as much as we want, we can't just focus on new additions when we need to tidy up things that we already currently have. And I think that we're getting really close to that point now. I mean, you'd agree, right?
I totally agree.
Yeah, we're like 99.9999% ready. So RSK and RingCT will be definitely coming very soon, before the next meetup.
He said it.
Oh God.
The pressure's on, guys. So the last question I have is more of an open conversation for Justin and Marvin both. It's what motivated them to work on this, and like what is their vision for it. I think we know more about Justin's already because he's said it time and time again. So I think we can start with Marvin, what brought him into this crazy journey and amongst us today, and see what he has to say.
Oh boy, like this is quite a long story, I would say, but I will keep it short for you. So basically, the user experience sucks. It's the thing. It basically sucks. You have to invest time. You have to invest computer performance. Like this is not an easy process to set up everything. There's no one-click installation, no auto update, nothing like you all know from the basic software development, which is already out there, like Discord app, for example. Just an example right here.
Actually, he did make a one-click installation if you have Windows.
Yeah, it's true. I installed it.
That MSI.
It works. Wow. I'm proud it works. So basically, that was my intention or my motivation to get into Verge, like the user experience, to ensure user experience, enrich the user experience moreover, and even further, like it was also a thing that I was concerned about, privacy, lags, like the event from Facebook that we had where multiple, I don't even remember what it exactly was, but I think there was some leak going on with their third-party apps that they could access personal data and store them, and they took them away, whatever. But at least it got me so a bit like motivated to ensure privacy for the people that are using their mobile phones on a daily usage, for example. Like they are scaling you, and they all got all your informations. At least get your finance insured and privacy based, so nobody is actually or can actually track you down on a daily basis, right? Why would they? Why would you allow them to? And that was my motivation. And furthermore, like the user experience, to stress that at this point, right? It basically still sucks, and I'm still hating that point. So we will work on that too. The vision is like, I got no clear vision at that point. I was really focused on get everything done with what was on the code base already, but we still have those 2 points. We have the RingCT part, which is a major privacy feature that is left, and we have RSK for like basic mass adoption for like businesses and also users that might be interested in that. But I don't see an end anywhere soon, right? We have all those integrations we already talked about with the new code base. We have a lot of like partners that we can introduce maybe in the sooner future. Let's see where we are going.
Yeah.
Thanks, Marvin. So this was Marvin basically making sure that Verge is user-friendly, and you have to thank him for it. User-friendliness is part of mass adoption. If people like me that don't know programming can't just download it and then, click install, it becomes harder, and I don't want to use it. So thank you, Marvin. Justin, the floor is yours.
On what Marvin was saying, I don't think a lot of people really understand how much data is collected from all of us. I mean, I'm a privacy freak, and I still use Facebook, and sometimes it honestly keeps me up at night thinking about how much information, my personal information, is shared. Messages between friends or family, to what my interests are, and if anybody here works in marketing, you guys would know that at the top tier of private marketing firms is a really, really scary world, and a lot of it should honestly be illegal. What they do with your information and how they work advertising, and even just their business structures to literally take advantage of you and find what your weaknesses are, essentially, or even just things about you that they can prey on, is really, really scary. So I mean, what got me into cryptocurrency, or what brought me to make Verge, really was that I just wanted to make a change with how I saw cryptocurrencies, how I saw the field evolving, and it basically just got flooded with so many new coins that were literally all identical. There were no differences at all, other than maybe like the block reward scheduling. It worried me because I said, I was honestly at the time a Bitcoin maximalist. I won't lie, and I still love Bitcoin to this day. I think it should always remain number one. It's what started it, and it's what brought everybody here. Whether you're here from another coin or Bitcoin is what started all of this. And I think that it's really important, like what Didi was saying earlier, that we defend this belief that we have, that we think that crypto can change the world, whether you're into Bitcoin or altcoins, or both. It's important that we defend it, and we stand up for this new movement, and keep it going. So if you have a passion for it, I mean, it's not something that you can just give somebody. I mean, if you have a passion for it, you have a passion for it. So. I mean, basically, I just got into it because I thought that people deserved more privacy, and that I felt like somebody needs to actually start doing what everybody's been talking about doing and implementing.
1 second, guys. There's someone passed out. Can you call the security guard, please?
There's someone that, what?
Somebody passed out.
Just
Fainted.
I've fainted before. Standing up for too long
Yeah.
happens.
They were not going to give me a chair for this. I was supposed to stand between you two. So I'm glad I have a bench. Oh, there you go. Security's here.
Are Did we already wrap it up?
No, after that it was like open questions. There's like
Oh, okay.
there's like online questions with Casper or. We continue.
We're okay.
Okay.
Okay. Everything's okay.
The effect of Holland.
The smell is too good. Yeah.
But yeah, so basically, I mean, I love privacy, and I understand how serious it really is, and how basically people have been monetized by huge corporations. You know, all of you in this room, I'm sure everybody here has a Facebook. I mean, I have a Facebook. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't be ashamed of it. You know, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be able to keep in touch with your friends and family online. That's pretty fucking normal. And you should want to keep in touch with your friends and family all in one place. There's nothing wrong with that. But we've all been monetized as a result because, you know, we think Facebook is free, but really we're making the money. So that's my little spiel. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about the origin of Verge and that kind of stuff a lot of times. I was actually more interested to hear Marvin's side of it.
Same, to be honest. I mean, you know.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So Casper, do you have questions from the online community? You want a microphone?
I just have a question here from Fong Fan. I'm not sure where he or she is from, but she said or he said, since we rebase source code from Bitcoin, do we have to intend about contribute to Bitcoin, maybe in privacy side, maybe?
Bitcoin's had the opportunity many times to work on more user privacy, and it doesn't really seem like a huge concern for them, which isn't good or bad. I mean, that's just, I think it probably boils down to like what we were talking about earlier is priorities. And I don't think that user privacy is a main priority of Bitcoin right now. So I don't feel like we're obligated to force them into it or even try to. And they have some of the most talented developers in the world. So I mean, I'm sure that, you know, if it ever does go that route, that they would figure out what to do. And of course, I'm sure me and Marvin would both be more than willing to help, you know, something like that happen for Bitcoin. But I think that they're more concerned about how their code operates, handling more transactions, and stuff like that. So,
Thank you, Justin. Marvin?
Nothing to remark here. So
Anybody in the crowd?
typical
have a
German
question?
response: nothing to remark.
Also. So anybody in the crowd have a question?
raise your hand. There
right.
you go.
Thank you.
I have a lot of questions actually, but like, let's start with an easy one. Where do you see blockchain or Verge, especially in technology 4.0, automatism and blockchain together? Where do you see Verge taking part of it?
Well, I mean, I think honestly, in some ways, we're leading privacy in cryptocurrencies. Marvin just upgraded us to the newest version of Tor, and as some of you know, Tor's source code from GitHub is actually a submodule in ours. So we don't just like copy Tor and put it in our code. Our code actually pulls from Tor itself and adds. And I believe I'm almost positive we're the only one using version 3 peers now by default, right? So we're definitely leading the way as far as you know, IP masking and stuff like that. And I'm very proud of that. And you know,
Yeah, so you can't just black hole it.
No. No. You can't just compromise Tor.
What is your industry perspective of blockchain for the next 1 to 10 years?
What do you mean by that?
Like, what do you think? What direction is blockchain heading at?
Only up and out. I mean, it's expanding, you know, horizontally and vertically. And more people are starting to understand that it can be used for. I think the best example for how simple blockchain technology or what makes it better is raise your hand if you guys know what SQL databases are. Okay, a blockchain could be a database and replace SQL. Everybody that raised their hand probably also knows that SQL is, very vulnerable to people who want that database. If they want to dump your database, they're probably going to dump your database. And with a blockchain database, you can't just dump a database. You can't inject it. It's not vulnerable in the same ways. So I think it's superior to SQL in just a basic sense. So I mean, there's so many different use cases. Whether it's a cryptocurrency or you just want to use a blockchain as a database.
Like one last question. There are 555 million Verge left to mine from the total supply. Do you have any strategies or plans, or like what will happen after?
We've actually been talking online. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen. We're talking about changing our proof of work schedule because otherwise it would run out in a year. And then, I mean, that's not a problem. It's supposed to run out. That's what it was built for. But me and Marvin have been talking about extending it for another 7 years so that we have more time to come up with what we want to do next. When the proof of work runs out, that's not the end of Verge. We still keep producing blocks, but they're just empty. There's no new coins coming in. So basically, miners would be processing transactions and only getting transaction fees. And if you look in the average block, on a good day, there's only a couple of Verge coins in it, maybe 2 or 3 worth of transaction fees. So if we go from 730 coins per block to 2 or 3, and then that's split between thousands of miners, it could be too drastic of a drop-off of incentive for miners to keep processing our transactions, and that's not an issue we want to deal with. And I think that if we extend our proof of work by 7 years, I mean, we don't need all 7 years, obviously, to come up with a strategy, but it definitely alleviates the mental stress of feeling like we need to come up with a solution right now. What are we going to do? Are we going to go to proof of stake? I personally, there's a lot of parts of proof of stake I don't like. So what are we going to do next? And it's a discussion that we need to have with the community. Me and Marvin aren't just going to say, this is what we're doing, deal with it, that's it. We need everybody's input. We don't want to just do this ourselves and say, oh, this is what we're going to do and that's that. So we're going to be doing things like Twitter polls to kind of pick everybody's brain and see what the majority feel. And then once, we kind of understand which way they want to go, come up with even more ideas that everybody could start, if we want to do it this way, do we want to try this, or this? Okay, we like that? Okay, well, do we want to do this way, this way, or this way? So yeah, that's a good question.
Thank you, Justin.
There's nothing more for me to say now.
Nothing to remark.
Yeah, really not.
Any other questions?
Casper, do you have any other questions from online?
Do you have any other questions?
I have actually a question for you guys. Like, we already had this discussion, right? How we discuss something like the subsidy with the community. How can we actually reach you the best? Like a Twitter poll reaches the Twitter people, but it's not everyone at Verge. A GitHub discussion reaches the people, the developers, basically.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't want to make a new GitHub account just to start talking on GitHub.
For sure, and that's a question. Like, how can we reach you the best?
Raise your hand if you have a Twitter. Raise your hand if you do not have a Twitter.
See?
Okay. So at least most people are on Twitter.
Well, it's true to say, like, let's do it on Twitter then.
Yeah, so we'll probably end up taking it. Okay, so if you don't have a Twitter, think about making an account just to start voting in the polls that we create, because we need to pick one channel that we want to start interacting with the community more. We used to do it. I used to do it myself on Bitcoin Talk many years ago, and Bitcoin Talk has just become a cesspool, and I don't even really go on it much anymore. But I think that Twitter is probably a good decision. So we'll probably start creating polls on Twitter and gauging the community feedback and what we choose to actually start getting more and more into detail in the polls. So
I was just going to remark, for those of you who don't have Twitter, we also do have a Facebook page. So everything that goes on Twitter, we repeat on Facebook just to make sure. Those of you who have Facebook, I think that's like 99.9% of people. Basically, you'll be able to access it there. So Justin and I are on it. We can see what happens.
I'm not.
Marvin's only on Twitter or Discord or Telegram sometimes.
he refuses to be monetized by Facebook.
So any other questions, or that's it for this panel? Yeah, when moon.
Couple hours.
10% up today.
Might
There
not
you
be
go.
today.
There's your moon. Okay.
Also, really quick, I just want to thank everybody for, especially because I know a lot of you probably came into crypto in general in 2017, right when it started peaking. And, congratulations to everybody that stuck through it and actually listened to people that have been around a little longer to say, hey, this is normal. It sucks, but it's normal. And as you guys have all seen, Bitcoin went down at 3 and now it's over 8. So obviously, there's a cycle here. And unfortunately, there's no perfect science to it. And I'm sure that you've all seen a million people's TA charts that they all share and say, oh, look at my TA, look at this. Some people are just blow my mind and they'll post 3 charts and they'll say, oh, well, if it goes up, it's going to do this. Or it might go up, it might go down, it might go sideways. But I try not to pay attention to any of that kind of stuff. I look at the chart itself and I kind of see a pretty basic example of Fibonacci. And I think that that's, in general, the best ideology to follow in as far as the market goes is it does a Fibonacci, new all-time highs, new all-time lows, or yearly lows, anyway. So congratulations, everybody, for sticking around and dealing with it, because obviously you see now it's on the rebound. And, this is what it does. Markets go up and down. If anybody can name a market that only goes up, let me know, please. Please.
All right. Thanks, Justin.
Porn,
So
that's true.
we have one question left, and then after that, we're going to eat, I think.
Yeah.
No.
No?
We have another announcement.
Oh, yeah. We have the second announcement. Thank you, Denny. I don't see the...
Still hungry?
I am hungry. I'm always hungry. You know me.
So we have this beautiful iOS wallet. So I'm wondering, when will I get my Android wallet?
That's going to be in the next panel, so stay tuned.
yeah. Oh.
Soon, TM. We have a panel with Wen, Sven, and
Yeah.
Manuel. So
Yeah, mobile wallet panel is coming up.
there you go. Next announcement. All right, give it up for Crypto Michael one more time. And now we're at the second part of the developer panel. So this time, Wen, Sven, and Manuel will be here to discuss about their developments. So give it up for both Sven and Manuel.
Pas de chaise, je suis en chercher une.
Nah, I'm okay.
T'es sûr?
Yeah.
D'accord.
I don't know what happened to the bench, but okay. So,
Oh boy.
yeah, again, crypto wrecked. So today we're gonna hear about Manuel and Sven and Manuel's thing. So Manuel is gonna start. It was Manuel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Manuel's gonna start about Android, and then we're. Oh, thank you, Marvin. Just thank you. You're an angel,
Marvin.
You know, notice he's as tall as me, and he's not on the stage. So Manuel's gonna discuss about his development on Android, then Sven, and then we're gonna ask questions, and then that's it.
Okay, so.
Go, Manuel.
Sorry, a little bit nervous. It's the first time I'm doing a speech, so.
You're doing fine.
I'm doing fine, thanks. So there's not a lot of the Android development to say. Let's be honest. I mean, it's a software that isn't completely developed yet. So I'm developing feature after feature. So I've started working on the UI, which was designed by Sven. What I just did is like, okay, Sven has started software. Nobody is working on the Android, on an Android wallet, on a new one, because there's already an old one. And I'm gonna start it. So I just took his wallet. I had an iPhone at the time, and I started copying what he was doing actually in Android, because he doesn't like Android. And that's actually what I'm doing. It's I don't want to.
On the iOS and trying to make it for Android.
I'm not trying Android.
Yeah, exactly. He's doing it, and the issue with Android is just there's different models and different ways, so he has to adapt it for all the millions of possibilities that Android offers.
You say it better than me, and I'm the developer. So.
So there you go. So that's what's going on with Android. I hear Sven has a presentation for us, so we're gonna go with Sven's presentation.
Go for it.
Yeah. Thank you. Hey. Okay. Here's my thingy. I did it kind of differently because I already released something, and here after this I'm going to stop working. No, it's a joke. My crypto journey. Yeah, that's what it says. I bought my first cryptocurrency in November 2017. So yeah, I basically got wrecked. Oh, that's the wrong button, I guess. I basically got wrecked. So that's nice. Still I'm here. And after that, I discovered Verge in December. And I went up, went down. Whole lot of fun. It was a roller coaster. But you know, I started to learn about Verge then. So I was liking the idea of privacy, right? A privacy coin, fast, yeah, a good currency with a good idea, with mass adoption in mind. So the most important thing, what we want to reach here. Then the first meetup went on, and I wasn't there. I was on a PHP conference, and I couldn't be there. So it was fun. I watched it afterwards, and I liked it. I got to know more about Verge back then. Yay. I did my first contribution on the project Marvin started, the V wallet. The light wallet actually, we still don't know when it will be released, probably never, or someday, we don't know. But I started working on Verge like any other person, just contribute something that I thought was worth updating. So yeah, that's when I started working on Verge. And well, time went by, I got into the core team. I was like, what the fuck is this? What am I doing with my life? And so we were really intrigued by, I was really intrigued by working on the iOS wallet, because I always wanted to make an iOS wallet as a developer. I liked Swift, which is the programming language, and so I got into that thing. I know Hassan created a what do you call it? A mock-up design for the wallet, and you know, I liked it. I thought, let's do this. So I did that. I tried. Time went on. My first sneak peek. A mock-up design by Marby. Early mock-up design. A couple of screenshots. Still wrecked. Screenshots. And then the beta phase came. It was in January, the 4th. And we ended up with 300 beta testers. And I'm so thankful to these people, because they actually helped me get to this point where we can actually release it with confidence that it's a good application. Because there were people like, oh, why is this a beta? Well, it sucks. It's not finished yet. So yeah, I was like getting help from that, and very much help. So I really respect them, and I want to thank them for this journey. It was great. 6 beta versions, and then we released it on the 24th or 23rd of April. Last April. It was not scheduled for that day, though. It was scheduled for a week later. And we we wanted to actually, schedule it and release it on that day. So I just scheduled it and clicked on release. So it released. And we thanks to Michal for getting everything done with the main handle and really treating it out like it's released, guys. And of course, the server goes down on that point because that's how it works, especially when you're a bunch of amateurs. Next. Thank you. It's on the App Store, and we had like almost 500 commits, so that's actually, it's like saying, here you have my code, pieces of code. And there were 5 contributors on GitHub at that time. So 5 people actually built this thing, not just me. 5 people helped, including Marvin, Ivan. Oh wait, there's a list of it. I'm coming back to that. It's open source under the MIT license, so everyone can copy it and do their own thing, make it ugly. Or better. So, Hassan, Wavion, he actually designed the thing. He made me want to do it. I did some additional designs, but he started it, definitely. Chris, very unknown, did the little things. Thank you. And Ivan and Mark me. So Ivan actually did the watch version. So it's crazy. I was like, I gave him the design and he came back with this, and then it's like, woo, thank you, bro. You did nothing. Key features, yeah. The coins on your iPhone are actually yours. So that's very important. The 12 words, paper key, and the passphrase make your private key. So keep them very safe. Those are your coins because of that. If the server we run goes down, your coins are still there. You always have the access. You just temporarily cannot move them because you don't know how. But anyone can put up a server and fix it. Well, Tor obviously is integrated into the wallet, which is the first. There's no iOS wallet out there with Tor integrated into the wallet directly. It's the first. Very proud of it. We had like a fun week of getting that integrated. It was hard. But yeah, it works. It's awesome. Yeah. And of course, it's easy to use and simple to understand for everyone. That was what Marvin also said. Like, that's a very important thing of mass adoption, to have it, to be able to use it, right? Because that's the way you want to use it. So that was an important thing. I like user experience. Very important. Okay, what's next? Nothing. A paper wallet sweeping. Okay, so you have a paper wallet. You want to get that into your iOS wallet. That's a cool feature, right? You want to have that. You want to give a paper wallet to someone as a gift, so they can actually just use the iOS wallet and Android wallet to just put that in your phone and it's yours. Multiple wallets, very important. Like if you have a business or a savings account, it will be on a different wallet. It will have a different private key, and yeah, it's handy. You want to have that. You want to have that, right? Yeah. Moon mode. That's nothing. More translations, of course. The translations update will come soon. We have like 12 translations done by freaking Verge fam. These guys are amazing, except Cecilie Land. And of course, NFC possibilities. We want to really, yeah, check out what is possible with that. Moo mode. Here it is. That's a dark mode actually. Yeah, it was. And thank you.
Thank you, Sven. So yeah, that was the part of presenting the wallet. So thank you very much, Sven, for everything you've done. Again, I want to reiterate what Sven said. Thank you for the community and all the participants online who helped build the different languages. It's really awesome. People complain that, oh, the wallet's only in English and I can't use it. And I was telling people on the Facebook messages, like, hey, if you want to use it, like, we have the translating option. Go there and translate it into your language and ask your friends to help you. And that's what they did. Like, people got together and now we have multiple languages coming out. And it's really humbling to see that, like, people somewhere that you don't know, it's like, yo, I want this in my language. So they spend the time to make it in their language. So thank you, Sven, and thank you for everybody. I had some questions from the community. I'm sure you guys might have questions for the two developers. The first question is not when Android, Manuel. You've answered that to us. Thank you.
Did I?
But the first question that I had, Sven kind of touched on it, was so why is it your keys when it's on your own wallet and not on an exchange? Should you keep your coins on a mobile wallet or on a PC wallet? What are your thoughts? Either one of you want to go first? Sven, Manuel?
So I was talking about this earlier, and if you put your coins on an exchange, what you don't have is the keys. The coins are always on the blockchain. They're in a block. They did not spend until that point, or on a certain point where you're gonna spend them. So if you have the keys, they're your coins because you can only, unless you share them, of course, but you can only make them move. And with an exchange, this is not the case because they are putting everything in their wallet. The difference is with this wallet is you have two things, the paper key and the passphrase, and those are yours. And those are that is what is able to move your coins, and thus it is safe. Yes.
Thank you, Sven.
Just a little mention. I haven't seen a lot of there outside, but there are also decentralized exchanges where, in that case, you own your keys because you have the private keys of, you have your address private keys, so you own the coins. Just making the difference.
So yeah, basically, if you own the keys to your coin, they are your coins. The other question that I had for mobility is, when can you spend your coins like a card in a wallet? So like you can tap and like it'll convert to money. Is that something? That was the question that was asked. Is that something that's in the plans in the future?
Sven?
Oh yeah. If there is like a service that would actually provide such a feature, then we want to implement that, right? If it's safe and easy to use and decentralized, then yeah, of course, definitely.
And then that was it for the questions that were submitted to me. Manuel, did you have something you wanted to add?
What about? I don't know. You had
to
a question
his
for me?
answer?
No, not about this answer.
So the one question that I had, it was both for actually for Justin and all the developers, but Manuel the other day had a really good answer for it. So it was, how can you help the development team, and how can you help advance all the code work and all the work that we do? So I'm going to give the microphone to Manuel so he can explain it to you.
Okay, long story short, last week we had a voice meeting, and everybody's like, yeah, what can you do to help with the development? And I said, okay, it's easy. If you're a developer, you know github.com. If you don't know github.com, I don't even know why you're asking these questions. So if you want to help with development, go on github.com/vergecurrency. There's all our source code which is available there. It's available for use. It's available for helping on it. Fork the repo, do the changes you want to do, and when you're done doing the changes, do a pull request. We will look into it. If we like it, if we find it useful, if it's well written, we're gonna accept it, and there you are. You have helped us. Thank you. But otherwise, I don't know. I mean, we're all open up in Discord. We are on Telegram. We're on Twitter. If you have some questions about something we did, you can always ask us. I'll be happy to help. Sven also, I think. Yeah. So.
There you go.
So if you want to contribute, just go on GitHub and you will find everything you need to help us.
So that was it for the pre-asked questions. Casper, did you have questions for the developers?
Oh man, now I'm afraid.
No, you don't have to be afraid. Sven, it's great to have the iOS wallet, of course. You mentioned already the moon mode. A lot of people ask me, I don't know what it means, but when moon, but now I understand. So can you give us a little bit an idea when you expect to have the update as you showed us here?
Nope. I mean, it's like always, right? I want to have that feature myself because it's beautiful. And so if I have the time, like this is not helping, right? This meetup, so we should get rid of this. No, but actually I want to have that too. I think it's a couple of months or something, or never.
Yes, and Manuel, about the Android, because people missed it, but could you give me, give the audience a little bit more an idea about the time frame? So when do you expect to have a certain beta release like Sven did with the iOS, so people can help the development and the testing?
Okay, so you have to understand that I don't have any real time frame. I go by objectives. Now the objective that I reached is I have like 80% of the UI which is set up. I have integrated the Verge, how to make it easy to understand, like the generating of addresses as the managing of addresses of Verge is done. Now what it needs to go in the beta release is to hook it up with our Verge wallet servers, which allows you basically to do transactions and manage your wallets. I'm working on this right now, so let's say I can't give a time frame, but I know that I have at least like 1 week to work on it, at the very least, to try it, test it, etc. But doesn't mean that next week is out. It means that it's 1 week of work. After that, I'll be talking about a beta release, but not before that, because it's not. Yeah, go.
I was like, I wanted to have a beta or have it finished. I started with I want to have it finished before the end of 2018. That did not work. I had a beta on the first week of 2019. So that was my goal. Perhaps you have a goal too.
I don't have a time goal, to be honest. I'm sorry for this. I will try to make it at least before end of 2019. Yeah, we are in 2019. But I can guarantee you a date. Like I have some personal stuff going on too, so I'm trying to manage both things. And yeah, once it's ready, you will all know it. I'll make enough noise on Twitter, and don't worry about it. Does someone have a question?
Any questions from the audience? Lift your hand up if you have any. Yeah, Chris? So I just want to say, if you want to follow where Manuel and Sven are at, we also have a release every 2 weeks with like development updates that we actually, take the time to explain in everyday language what's going on and what are the challenges and what has been done. So you can always follow what they're doing, what everybody's doing on those updates. So yeah, that's about it for our questions. So I think if there's no questions from the online community, I think that will conclude the development panel. Yeah.